welcome to Ask Me Anything, where I close out at the end of the stream, and folks can ask me anything. Um, Zeravard27 asks, "What's better, road or oval?" Um, Neither is the answer. They're awesome. Uh, Drive what you want. That's the biggest thing. That's one of the coolest things about iRacing is that there are so many different series. Uh, you can pick the one that you want and have a lot of fun with it. Um, so, which is better, road or oval? That's totally up to you. I've been a NASCAR fan since I was a little kid, so NASCAR is kind of where my passion is. I skew more towards that style of racing, but I in no way claim that it is superior to any other form of racing that's out there. Nuke Brony, how did I hear about iRacing? That's actually a really good question. So, how I heard about iRacing and how I got into it, there are two different ones. How I heard about it was that back when I was a kid, I had all the games that Papyrus made. So, I had the original Indianapolis 500 game, I had the original NASCAR Racing, I had NASCAR Racing 2, I had NASCAR Racing 2003 season. I was very upset when. Electronic Arts got the exclusive NASCAR license, which to me meant that there were no more good NASCAR games made for a while. So I was aware of iRacing coming about when, as the next project that the developers of NASCAR Racing 2003 season were doing after the studio that they had worked at got shut down. How I got into iRacing, though, was that when I was in Los Angeles, my girlfriend at the time got me for my birthday on Groupon a racing package to go drive a late model at Irwindale, a late model stock car at Irwindale. The package included a free the package at the track included a trial subscription for iRacing, and also they had a simulator set up. So before I went out and turned laps on the real track, I tried out the simulator, and that was my first time that I turned laps in iRacing, which I had known about already, was in the simulator at Irwindale Speedway. I think, if I remember correctly, I was running the bottom line, which was totally wrong, and it was an open practice session, so there were a couple other people in there, and I wrecked them. And was informed by the guy watching that they were probably ticked at me, and they probably were, given what I know now about iRacing. So I started that. Oh, Nim Cross is in the house. I'm going to get to that one in a second. So that was how I got into iRacing. I used that free trial subscription, and it kind of grew from there. Eugene Debs, not really a question, but Spit's the greatest. I will be running a Eugene Debs paint scheme for my throwback. Move Avenger, why am I such a nerd? Because I have a curiosity to learn more about things, and things that I'm passionate about I get really into, and I want to learn much about them. So that's why I'm such a nerd. Zrevard27, have I ever done any racing in real life? Yes, I have. Not much, but I did do some what's called SCCA solo racing, and so that's autocross racing, and I also did 2 chump car races, one that was at the Auto Club Interior Road Course, and another one at Laguna Seca. The Laguna Seca one, the Laguna Seca one did not go well. The car had electrical problems. I only got a few laps, but just being able to turn a couple laps at Laguna Seca was awesome. Nim Cross, have you ever intentionally wrecked someone? Now, this is an interesting question given who it's coming from. Nim Cross, for those of you who don't know, is the iRacing steward who fields all of the protests that come in from drivers who feel that they have been wronged. I say feel that they have been wronged because sometimes they actually have been wrong. There are people who intentionally wreck people. And then there are other people who get upset because they were wrecked and it was totally a racing incident. Nim has the job of dealing with all of those protests and determining whether or not it merits a suspension. Nim has actually handed down a 1-week suspension to me back in my early days of streaming. He may not have even known it at the time, but there was an incident at Talladega. This is back when I used to instead of the water that I drink now on stream, I would set up 2 24-ounce cans of beer, and I would drink those as I would do my stream. I had a lot less viewers back then. This is a late night race at Talladega in the trucks. I was upset with another driver for wrecking me, but I mean, looking back on it, it was totally a racing deal. I think we were like 3 or 4 wide or something like that. He came down into me and hooked me, and I was upset about it. But what really got me, my temper going, in addition to the alcohol, was that he and another driver just started like jawing back and forth at me and stuff like that. He wrecked me and then accused me of causing the wreck and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, at the end of the race, which ended under caution, because they had started running into me, I slammed on the brakes and let them go past me, which gave them a black flag for going past me at the end. They had both run into me intentionally under caution, so I just kind of got fed up and was like, fine, you guys want to play this way? I just stomped on the brakes, let them go past, and do that. The other one that is actually well documented, I'll actually put a link in this, full disclosure, on my YouTube channel, is my second highest Theodore temper. Let me just try that and see if that works. No. John Theodore should have stopped. So this was a National Series race. There we go. I'll just put the link up to this. There you go. So it was a National Series race. I was having a really good run. I got wrecked by a lap car and chased him back down and turned him. We ended up exchanging messages. He apologized for what he had done. And really this one was actually a teachable moment for me because, I was in the number 1 car, so I was hacked off. But the guy who was doing it, he was like, hey man, sorry, it was my first D-class race. And so that kind of put things in perspective, which is why I keep my temper in check a lot more now and take things into stride better, is that he, it made me remember what it was like when I was coming up. And there's this stigma, particularly in stock car racing, that the way that you teach guys how to learn the rules of the road is if they mess up, you go back and you knock them, you knock the fire out of them, you take them out and teach them lessons. Like, that's how some guys have done it. But given that in iRacing, we've got a mic, we can talk to each other and we can hash it out that way. And you can really, you can teach people with a gentler hand. That seems to work a lot better. So there, that's it. So full disclosure, Nim, I hope you don't end up suspending me retroactively because this video is out there. Anyway, so yeah, I don't intentionally wreck people anymore, but it's happened. Cool. So let's see, we're about at the 10-minute mark. I think I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream with that. So we're going to flip back over to the normal view here. I'm going to roll credits. And yeah. Look, it's everyone gets heated in racing. Tempers boil over sometimes. But you got to try to keep that in check. And that's what I learned. Nim Cross, have you ever wrecked anyone intentionally, sir? Thank you to Gasometers, and I'm too old for this, for the cheers. Much appreciated. Thank you to my Routerators for helping keep my community in check. Thank you to my new followers for the night. David Antix, Buzzed Lightner 87, HOF Status, Movie Nation YT, the AK85, Zeke H30, Ars McKickerson, Boo 4608, Hentai Gundam, Jixeron, Tiago 85, DeMarshmallow Man, Racer 9, 420 Agersai, Rodrigo LMBR, Turbo Clag 79, Go Blizz GG. Thanks to my YouTube subs, Aldenation Games, Jaro Bernay Martinez, and thanks to my subs and resubs, Self High Five, Marcio M, and thanks to thank you, and the Move Avenger 2. Thank you guys. Yeah, definitely not worth losing your job, Nim. And also, so here's the biggest thing on the intentional wrecking stuff. It's not worth it to Nim to lose his job. Zerovar27, thank you for the follow. And the lesson that I learned, and this is a big thing, this is a point that I come back to a lot in my racing and stuff like that, is don't let one mistake, don't let a bad day turn into a worse day. You know, if someone wrecks you, even if they did dive it in on you and wreck you intentionally, that sucks. That's a bad race. If you lose your temper, go after them and take them out, now what you've done is you've turned a bad race into a worse race and potentially a 1-week suspension or longer, depending on how Nim is feeling that day. So don't do it, because it's not worth it. It's never worth it. You know, and that's all I got to say about that. Thank you guys for watching. That's the end of tonight's Ask Me Anything. So thank you guys for watching. Peace out. And